comes to the Zordon era of Power Rangers, the villains that people often bring up are Rita Repulsa and Lord Zedd. But to me, the best villain of the Zordon era is Astronomer. Oh yeah, we about to talk about this right now.
So that's the way you want it.
Now, for the people that's been watching me for a while, I have hinted here and there about my love for the Astronomer character. She is fantastic. One of the most complete Power Ranger villains that I've seen thus far. She wasn't just the average villain that's just throwing monsters out there. Corone, Astronomer, actually had a story, and it was so compelling, bringing me in from day one when I watched Power Rangers in Space. She is the reason why, hands down, that Power Rangers in Space was one of the best Power Ranger seasons that I've ever seen. But before we get down into Astronomer, we're going to talk about the villains that came before the great queen, the true queen of the Zordon era, Astronomer. We're going to talk about Rita Repulsa, the first villain that set the tone for Power Rangers. But when it comes to Rita Repulsa, she was more theatrical than threatening at some times. Yeah, she had some victories here and there. She had her 2 or 3 part episodes. Her best episode was bringing in Tommy, Green with Evil. It took the Power Rangers 5 episodes to figure out how do we defeat this evil Green Ranger and bring him to our side. Other than Green with Evil, I felt like that was the most threatening that Rita Repulsa was. It was just Monster of the Week when it came to her. And there was not as much character development when it came to the Rita Repulsa story. You know, we turn on Power Rangers, you see Rita Repulsa, she turns a random, I don't know, a soccer ball into a monster, and then there you go. We got our monster of the Power Rangers episode. We got Frankenstein as a Power Ranger villain. You know, that's what Rita Repulsa kind of ends when it comes to her character. Now, when it came to Rita Repulsa, I heard that she had a dark origin story about her upbringing and everything. For the people that know about this, let your boy know. I think it was in the comics. I think she had a bit of a dark story that made her evil, something along those lines. But I'm quite sure one of my tried and truths is gonna help your boy out. Was there a darker story about Rita Repulsa before she became this evil queen empress? Let your boy know in the comment section. But that's where we pretty much end when it comes to the Rita Repulsa character, when she was just solo dolo on her own. Now let's bring in my guy Lord Zedd. Before I saw Astronomer, Lord Zedd was my favorite Power Ranger villain. This guy just looks like a villain. He looks scary. When he came on to Power Rangers, he was the darker villain, you know what I'm saying? Like, he felt like an actual threat. Like, this guy was really gonna take down the Power Rangers. But the downside when it came to the Lord Zedd character, when it came to the Zordon era, is that he got soft. The boy got soft when he married Rita Repulsa. After that marriage, that wedding thing, you know, the Lord Zedd that was evil and menacing, you know, he was still evil, but he wasn't that threat that he was when he first jumped on the scene. So after he got married to Rita Repulsa, there was the evil married couple. Now, in theory, you would think this will work. Rita Repulsa and Lord Zedd, these two evil villains will come together, and by them coming together, they will figure out the formula to defeat the Power Rangers. Nah. They were absolute jokes. And it seemed like the longer and longer that they stayed on the show as the main villains, they got even more sillier. They was becoming more scared of the villains that was above them. All of a sudden, you start to see fear in Lord Zedd. You know what I'm saying? You start to see fear in Rita Repulsa. You know what I'm saying? Like, there was no fear when it comes to Astronomer. You know what I'm saying? Like, there was no fear with from my POV. You know what I'm saying? Up next is King Mondo. Do I really have to go into too much depth when it comes to this character? King Mondo was the reason why I did not get jiggy with Power Ranger Zeo. He was a joke. Like, I did not take him serious. Now you have this robotic the machine empire, whatever they're called. I never took them for a threat. The character itself just wasn't serious. Like, you go from Rita Repulsa, who was iconic. You go to Lord Zedd, who was iconic. Started out good, but did not finish off well. But then you go from him to King Mondo. Not once. I don't even think of one episode where I feel like King Mondo was a legit threat to the Power Rangers. Like, he just came in and then just to me, like, Zeo was over, and like I think Lord Zedd and Rita got their revenge at the end or something like that. But I don't know. I told y'all before, I did not connect with the King Mondo as a villain. He just seemed more of a joke and less of a threat to me. Now we got to talk about Divatox. Now, going from King Mondo to Divatox, I felt like I actually liked Divatox. I felt like Divatox actually had potential. But as we rolled on in Power Rangers Turbo, you started to see that, okay, this woman is just a T-Move version of Rita Repulsa when it came to the campiness and the seriousness of her characters. I feel like outside of that one time where she tried to delete Tommy and like had him hanging, and that's when the power transfer happened, that was a bit of a, I guess, a threatening side of her. And then also when it came to the Chase into Space, one of my favorite Power Rangers episodes, when Divatox actually succeeded. She took down the Power Rangers. You know, she destroyed the power chamber. She got rid of their powers. Divatox, out of basically these villains, actually got the W, but everything in between, sis was failing. And that's the case when it comes to these Power Ranger villains, okay? You know, they're gonna unleash their monster, they're ultimately gonna fail, and we're gonna keep falling for this formula over and over again. We're gonna keep being on our wooden bowl, being like, please sir, can I have some more? That's just gonna be us every single time, you know what I'm saying? Going from King Mondo to Divatox, I actually did like her, but she was just not as serious to me. Now we gotta talk about the reason why we here. The Queen Astronomer herself, when she first came on the scene in Power Rangers in Space, that very first episode, she had the presence, she had that energy, she had a nice look to her, she looked different. You know, she had the purple hair, I do believe. I think it changed from, like, you know, she had purple hair, she had blue hair, she had silver hair, and then when she became red hair Corone, that was a different beast right there, you know what I'm saying? But when she first came on the scene, I kind of gravitated to her character. She had a story. There was something that was looming. Then we had Andros, who was the Red Ranger, on a search for his sister. Little to us Power Ranger viewers as we watched the show, that this, in fact, was his sister. So we got a brother and sister fighting against each other. You know, once Andros found out that Astronomer was his sister, that was a twist right there. You know, he found out that Corone was actually kidnapped and she was raised to be evil. She was brainwashed. So Andros is just like, I'm not quitting on my sister. You know, they actually did get her back, and then they re-brainwashed her, and then she turned into Red-Hair Corone. Once she turned into Red-Hair Corone / Astronomer, she was on some different timing. But there was a story there from the very beginning, from episode 1 to the countdown to destruction. We had the story. We got to get Astronomer to turn back into Corone. We got there like midway through the season, but then she got more evil. But we had fun along the ride. She recruited the Ninja Turtles. You remember that? That was a cool crossover episode right there. I think it was like a 2-part, but that was cool. Corone, Astronomer recruited the Ninja Turtles to help her fight the Power Rangers. And then we had, you know, Ecliptor, who was bro, if this was a 2-on-2, Corone and Ecliptor would wash Rita Repulsa and Goldar any day, bro. Ecliptor was that dude, you know what I'm saying? And we can't forget, after she became Red Hair Corone Astronomer, she put on one of the best Power Ranger set of villains of all time. When you think about Power Rangers in Space, you think about the Psycho Rangers. Hands, feet, and ankles to all the Power Rangers. They had them sweating bullets, bro. Bullets. You know what I'm saying? The Psycho Ranger arc is probably one of the best arcs in Power Rangers. You know, for the people who did not get past Mighty Morphin, they're going to often talk about, you know, the agreeing with evil and things like that. When Tommy came back to the team, the Ninja Quest and things like that. But the Psycho Ranger arc was phenomenal because they was beating the Power Rangers, and the Power Rangers did not know what to do. They really had to make the Power Rangers, like the Psycho Rangers made the Power Rangers better as a team. That's what Astronomer was doing. She was pushing them to the absolute limit. But also, while doing this in the back of Andros's mind, he's just like, I gotta get my sister back. And I love this story from start to finish. It was simple, effective. She was kidnapped when she was younger. Her brother is on a hunt to find his sister. Little did he know the villain that he is fighting is actually his sister. And then it all culminated with that showdown with the countdown to destruction. See, unlike the previous villains before, even though Divatox took down the Power Rangers, no, Sis was she was actually about to take over the galaxy. You know what I'm saying? Like, she was destroying the town like the other monsters, but that's here nor there. But it was looking like a real takeover. Dark Spectre and everybody was just like, they really made her more evil. Red Hair Corone was a different beast. You know what I'm saying? She was about to take over. She was about to take over. That's how serious she was. And in order to get everything restored to normal, they had to sacrifice the one true ultimate form of goodness, which was Zordon. Zordon had to get sacrificed in order to stop this woman. We had Zordon in the first 3 seasons of Mighty Morphin, and then we had him in Zeo, and then he was in Turbo for like a cup of coffee, and then he left, and then he came back in Power Rangers in Space. So we was already familiar. We love Zordon, but the ultimate sacrifice had to get paid to stop this woman. The layers, the storytelling from start to finish. Just when you think that you had an answer and bringing this woman back to goodness midway through the season, they turned her evil and even more evil. We got the Psycho Rangers, and we had to sacrifice Zordon in order to get the Earth back restored, and evil from all over the galaxy gone and wiped away. Come on, man. She was the reason why Power Rangers was saved. I feel like if you have a great villain, then you're gonna have a fun season. Because of her story and her arcs and Andros, the ties to the Power Rangers and things, how can y'all not say that this woman is not the best Zordon era Power Ranger villain? And before I forget, she got her redemption story in Power Rangers Lost Galaxy. When she became the Pink Ranger, I loved it. I loved seeing her return to the show as a good person, and she actually got her redemption arc. She fought Astronema. You know, she went through the test, and she proved that she could still be good, and she became the Pink Ranger of the team. And I was glad to see her because, one, I anything in space, I'm always attached to, you know what I'm saying? But she was a great Pink Ranger. I wish we got to see more of her with that suit on. I'm glad she got that redemption in Power Rangers Lost Galaxy. With that being said, how do you feel about Astronomer / Corone, her story? Do you think when it comes to the Zordon era villains, was she the best one? Let your boy know. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Let your boy know. Thank you for everything. Thank you for all the support you guys have been doing. Y'all been, bro, listen, the support has been overwhelming at times. The comments, the likes, people just keeping to encourage me. Thank you, because that is what keeps me going. People that hit me up on Instagram, TikTok, in the YouTube comments, you know, telling me to keep going and things like that. I like to have fun. I like to do these videos. I'm enjoying myself while doing this. So just thank you again. We're just gonna keep the channel rolling. I'm gonna keep trying to pump out these videos as best as I can and just keep entertaining you guys the best of my ability. So if you like this video, hit it with a thumbs up, like, share, and subscribe. And until the next video, your boy the Wildcat, J Troy, is out.